2 days before payday. You open the banking app. The number is lower than it should be. You know exactly why: the mortgage, the car payment, the credit card balance you have been carrying for 3 months that you keep meaning to pay off. But knowing why does not make it feel better. You close the app. You go back to work. Your salary is $210,000 a year. That is not a typo. That is not a humble brag. That is the specific, disorienting reality that a growing number of people are living quietly, earning more than 96% of the country and still feeling the familiar tightening in the chest 2 days before the direct deposit hits. And the strangest part is not the feeling itself. The strangest part is the shame that comes with it. Because you were not supposed to feel this way. You did everything right. You got the degree. You got the job. You got the raise, and then the raise after that. And somewhere between the first raise and the fourth, the financial anxiety that was supposed to go away just quietly changed addresses. It moved from not enough income to not enough left over after everything the income is required to cover. My name is Nick, and I spend a genuinely unreasonable amount of time thinking about why money behaves differently than people expect it to, specifically the moments where doing everything right produces the exact feeling you are doing everything right to avoid. If you have ever looked at your salary and your bank balance at the same time and felt the gap between them as a personal failure, hit subscribe, because today we are going inside the 3 specific traps that turn high income into a feeling of being broke. And I will tell you right now that none of them are about discipline. All of them are about mechanics. Here are the 3 traps. Lifestyle inflation. The way that expenses expand to fill every raise before the raise has time to build anything. The comparison group shift. The way that earning more puts you in rooms with people who spend more, and what that does to your sense of what is normal. And the identity tax. The specific, largely invisible cost of performing a high income in the world. 3 traps. All of them quiet. All of them mechanical. None of them your fault for falling into. But all of them fixable once you can see them clearly. Before we go into each one, let me give you the number that matters most in this entire conversation. It is not your salary. It is not your savings rate. It is the ratio of your net worth to your annual income. Take everything you own minus everything you owe. Divide it by what you earn in a year. The resulting number tells you whether your income is building wealth or maintaining lifestyle. Most financial planners suggest this ratio should be at least 1 by age 35, meaning your net worth should be at least equal to 1 year of your income. At 45 it should be closer to 3 or 4. Among high-income earners, people earning over $150,000 a year, the Federal Reserve data consistently shows this ratio lagging dramatically behind what the income would suggest if even a modest percentage were being built rather than spent. In plain terms, most high earners are building far less wealth than their income implies is possible. Not because they are irresponsible. Because they walked into 3 specific traps that are invisible until someone names them. Let me introduce you to 2 people. Derek and Maya both earn $200,000 a year. Same industry, similar roles, similar ages. They went to the same conference last year and had the same conversation about compensation. They left feeling roughly equal. 5 years from now, their financial lives will look completely different. Not because one of them got lucky. Not because one of them has more discipline. But because one of them saw the 3 traps clearly and made one structural decision about each of them. The other did not. Derek looks like he has it together. Nice house. In a good neighborhood, a car that fits the salary, vacations that show up on his social media looking exactly the way $200,000 a year is supposed to look. He is not reckless. He is not irresponsible. He is not living beyond his means in any way he could easily articulate. But his net worth to income ratio is 0.4. He has $80,000 in assets against $200,000 in annual income, plus a mortgage, car loan, and a credit card he pays most of each month. He cannot fully explain why the number is so low. It just always seems like there is something requiring the money. Maya does not look particularly different on the surface. Similar house, similar neighborhood, similar life from the outside. But her net worth to income ratio is 2.1. She has $420,000 in assets, mostly invested, against the same $200,000 annual income. She made 3 specific decisions that Derek did not. Not heroic decisions. Not dramatic sacrifice. Just 3 structural choices that changed the direction of the money before it had time to get absorbed. The difference between Derek and Maya is the 3 traps. Let us go through them. Trap number 1. Lifestyle inflation. This is the one everyone has heard of and almost no one has actually defended themselves against. Not because they lack willpower. Because the mechanism operates faster than willpower can respond. Here is precisely how it works. You receive a raise. The raise arrives. Before it arrives, you have identified something that the raise will make possible: a better apartment, a car upgrade, a vacation you have been deferring. These are not extravagant decisions. They are reasonable. You earn more, you can afford more, you spend more. The standard of living rises. The rise feels earned. And then the new standard becomes the baseline. Within 6 to 12 months, the raise has been fully absorbed into the cost of the life you now require to maintain. The raise is gone. The lifestyle remains. And you are waiting for the next raise to do something with. Repeat this cycle 4 times across a career trajectory from $60,000 to $200,000, and you have built a life that costs $200,000 to maintain, but has generated almost nothing in terms of wealth. You have had 4 raises. You have spent 4 raises. You are exactly where you were at $60,000 in terms of financial security, just more expensively. The research on this is precise and uncomfortable. A study published in the Journal of Economic Psychology found that across income levels, people consistently spend approximately 80 to 90% of every income increase within 1 year of receiving it. Not over time. Within a year. The mechanism has a name: hedonic adaptation, and it operates with the indifference of a physical law. The new car feels like a luxury for approximately 3 months. Then it feels like your car. The new apartment feels like an upgrade for approximately 6 months. Then it feels like home. The raise that was going to change things becomes the income level that is required. And the financial anxiety that was supposed to lift just adjusts its address. Derek got 4 raises in 6 years. He remembers being excited about each one. He cannot remember where any of them went. Maya got the same raises. Before each one arrived, she made one structural decision. She automated an increase in her investment contribution equal to 50% of the raise. Not all of it, half. The other half she let lift her lifestyle. The lifestyle still rose. The wealth also rose. The raise got split. Before it arrived, the mechanism of hedonic adaptation got half the raise instead of all of it. Over 6 years and 4 raises, that single automated structural decision created the entire difference between a net worth ratio of 0.4 and 2.1. Not discipline. One decision made before the raise existed, repeated 4 times. Trap number 2. The comparison group shift. This is the trap that nobody in the personal finance space talks about directly, and it is the one that operates most insidiously on high earners specifically, because it only becomes relevant once you have reached a certain income level. Here is the mechanism. As your income rises, the rooms you are in change. The colleagues you interact with daily change. The social context in which you make spending decisions changes. At $60,000 a year, your comparison group is people earning $60,000 a year. The things they spend money on look normal to you because they are what people in your income range spend money on. At $200,000, your comparison group has shifted, not always consciously, not always explicitly, but shifted. The people you work with, the clients you interact with, the neighborhood you live in, they skew higher than they did at $60,000. And the spending patterns of the new comparison group become the new definition of normal. At $200,000 a year, normal might be a kitchen renovation that costs $80,000. A family vacation to Europe that costs $25,000. Private school for the kids. A country club membership. A second car that fits the neighborhood. None of these things feel extravagant inside the comparison group where they are normal. They feel like what people do. They feel like keeping up. They feel like not falling behind. The problem is that your income, while large in absolute terms, may be at the bottom of your comparison group's range. You are earning $200,000 and spending like someone who earns $350,000 because that is what the people around you earn and spend. Researchers call this reference group theory, and the data on it is consistent across decades of economic research. People do not measure their financial well-being against an absolute standard. They measure it against the people they can see. And at high income levels, the people you can see tend to earn and spend significantly more than you do. The treadmill does not slow down at $200,000. It speeds up. Derek's comparison group at work includes 3 people who earn $350,000 and 2 who earn $500,000. He does not consciously compare himself to them. But the restaurant where the team goes for client dinners is the restaurant that is normal for the $350,000 earners. The neighborhood he moved to because his colleague recommended it is the neighborhood that is normal for the $500,000 household. He is not overspending relative to his visible context. He is exactly keeping up. That is precisely the trap. Maya made one structural decision about her comparison group. She chose it deliberately. She did not stop socializing with high earners. She did not change her job or her neighborhood. But she added a second comparison group. A small group of people building serious wealth. Quietly. People whose net worth ratio she tracked. And compared herself to alongside the visible lifestyle comparison. She gave herself a second mirror to look into. And the second mirror showed her something the first one did not, that the most financially successful people in her orbit were almost invisible. in their spending and very loud in their accumulation. She stopped trying to win a game she had not consciously entered, not through discipline, by changing which game she was watching. Trap number 3. The identity tax. This is the one that is the hardest to name, because it feels the most justified, and it is the most uniquely costly at high income levels because the cost scales with the salary. Here is the mechanism. A high income comes with a set of social and professional expectations about how that income should be visibly expressed. The car that communicates the level. The neighborhood that signals the achievement. The wardrobe that performs the role. The vacations that confirm the status. The private school that demonstrates the priority. These are not purely vanity expenses. Many of them have real professional and social functions, but they also carry an invisible tax. The higher the income, the higher the expected expression of the income, and the expected expression of the income is always at or above the income level, never below it. Economists have studied this phenomenon under various labels: conspicuous consumption, status goods, the cost of signaling, and the consistent finding is that high earners spend a disproportionately large percentage of their income on goods and services whose primary function is to signal the income. The car is not just transportation. The neighborhood is not just shelter. The vacation is not just rest. Each of them performs the income for an audience, colleagues, neighbors, family, social media, and the performance costs money that could otherwise be building wealth. The Diderot effect, named after the French philosopher who received a beautiful dressing gown as a gift and then spent years upgrading everything in his home to match it, describes the specific spiral that the identity tax creates. One high-status purchase creates the social and psychological pressure to upgrade the purchases around it. The new car requires the neighborhood. The neighborhood requires the kitchen. The kitchen requires the vacation. The vacation requires the wardrobe. Each purchase is individually justifiable. The system they form together consumes everything the income produces. Derek bought a car that was appropriate for his income. Then he moved to a neighborhood that was appropriate for the car. Then he renovated a kitchen that was appropriate for the neighborhood. He cannot point to a single irresponsible decision. The system assembled itself from individually reasonable choices, and it costs $200,000 a year to maintain. Maya drives a car that is 2 income levels below her salary. She made this decision once and has not revisited it. She calculated the difference between the car she drives and the car her income implies, approximately $1,200 a month in payments, insurance, and depreciation, and she invested the difference automatically. That single deliberate mismatch between her income and her identity performance generates, at a 7% return over 10 years, approximately $208,000 in additional net worth. From one car decision, she did not stop performing her income entirely. She chose which elements of the identity tax she was willing to pay and which ones she was not. The deliberate choice is the difference between an unconscious system consuming your income and a conscious architecture building your wealth. Now here is the gut check I want you to run right now, if you are willing to be honest about it for 60 seconds. Take your annual income. Take your current net worth, everything you own minus everything you owe. Divide net worth by income. What is the number? If you are 35 and the number is below 1.0, your income is maintaining a lifestyle not building wealth. Not because of what you earn, because of how the three traps have positioned the money before it has a chance to accumulate. And if you are earning $200,000 and the number is below 1.0, you are in a specific and well-documented financial situation that has nothing to do with how much you make and everything to do with which of the three traps you walked into and whether you can see them clearly enough to walk out. Here is the uncomfortable truth that I have been building toward. The math on $200,000 invested rather than spent is almost incomprehensible relative to what most high earners actually accumulate. If a person earning $200,000 a year invested just 20% of their income, $40,000 a year, at a 7% average annual return for 20 years, the resulting portfolio is approximately $1.7 million at a 4% withdrawal rate. That is $68,000 a year in perpetual passive income. Work optional at the moderate end of the scale. Most high earners do not reach $1.7 million in net worth by age 55. Not because the income was not there, because the three traps consumed the income before it had time to compound. Lifestyle inflation absorbed the raises. The comparison group shift expanded the spending to match the visible context. The identity tax charged a premium on every purchase that was performing the income. The income was always capable of building the wealth. The system that surrounded the income was never designed to let it. Here is the reframe. The difference between a high earner and a wealth builder is not discipline. It is not sacrifice. It is not deprivation. The difference is three structural decisions, one about raises, one about comparison groups, one about identity performance, made before the money arrives, not in response to the money after it has already been spent. Maya is not more disciplined than Derek. She made three decisions that ran automatically while her income grew. The decisions were not ongoing acts of willpower. They were architectural choices that changed the direction of the money. At a structural level, the raises got split before they arrived. The comparison group got deliberately chosen. The identity tax got audited and partially refused. Derek is not lazy or irresponsible. He is living inside three traps that were designed to feel like normal adult decisions. The mortgage is reasonable. The car is appropriate. The vacation is earned. The neighborhood is fitting. And the system these individually reasonable decisions create consumes exactly what a $200,000 income produces, leaving the account 2 days before payday in exactly the same condition it was when he earned $60,000. The income changed. The trap did not. 2 days before payday, you open the banking app. The number is lower than it should be. You know exactly why. The question now is whether you know which trap you are in. Because the trap is not a character flaw. It is a mechanism. And mechanisms, once seen, can be changed with a decision, not a resolution, not a budget, not a subscription to a self-denial program. A structural decision, made once, before the money arrives. I am not a financial advisor and none of this is financial advice. These are patterns I have watched play out with real numbers attached. Take what is useful and leave the rest. If this named something you have been feeling but could not explain, drop a comment and tell me which of the three traps you recognized yourself in most clearly. I actually read every single one. And if You want to see the video on why reaching $500,000 feels nothing like you imagined? It would. It is right there on your screen. Go watch that one next. I will see you in it.